What's up, witches? I'm picking music that I like. What's up? Good morning, Lou. Good morning, Ajna. Good morning, Jeremy, Betty. Hi, Valentonia. Valentonia, I am not your leader. I am no one's leader. I can barely lead myself. I was almost not here this morning because I did not get up when I intended to. I saw an alarm and it didn't go off, I guess. I have a lofty clock, which I really love. Like last year, I started leaving my phone out of the room so that I can just play like sleep sounds and binaural beats and just be woken up with an alarm. And I really like the way Lofty does their alarm. They have like a soft wake up first. They give you like one sound, and then like 10 minutes later the actual alarm goes off, so it allows you to kind of slowly wake up and all of that stuff. And I really love that, but I've been having issues with it lately. It wasn't connecting to Bluetooth for a while, and then this morning apparently it just didn't go off. I didn't hear it. And usually it would keep going, so I think it just didn't go off or something. I'm not really sure. So I'm barely fit to lead myself. But that's nice that you would think of me that way. But I prefer to just think of myself as like, your older witch sister that just has done this for a little while. So your direction should come from there and from here. And I'm just here to share some things. Ultimately, hi, Mind Body Connection. Welcome. Good morning. Maybe it's the universe wanting you to get more rest. Maybe. The shop is open today, so ain't no rest for the wicked. Somebody's got to open the shop. So I will definitely be trying to get to bed earlier tonight. I've been getting to bed pretty late the last few nights. It's the new moon, and usually I don't have that issue. Typically the full moon will have me up super late for 2-3 nights in a row. But I've been kind of cramming in a lot of extra work because I just have a lot going on with the shop, trying to get ready for the holiday season and travel plans, and bringing 3 new shop apprentices into the shop, which I'm super excited about. But they have to be onboarded, and all these things need to be done to get them situated. And then we have the season finale of the podcast, and I've already started preparing for next season. So it's a lot right now. So I've been working in the shop all day, and then coming home and eating, taking my nightly shower, and then sitting in bed with my computer and doing more work. So it's been hard to get rest. So yeah, I have time at 7 to get to the office. Yeah, it can be hard to get rest, but I'm here. I made it. So welcome everyone. If you are new around these parts, this is the live collective tarot reading. We are gathering this time for the new moon in Sagittarius, which happens today, this evening at 5:57 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It will be a new moon in the lovely sign of Sagittarius. Any Sagittariuses in the building? Raise your hand if you are a Sag, Sun, Moon, or Rising. And this is not an astrology reading session. I am not an astrologer, but we always talk about the astrology. If you are new around here, we always talk about the astrology of the moon phase or any major transits that are happening, because if you are not new here, then you know that it always shows up in the reading anyway. Because this is a collective reading, it's for the entire collective. We are asking Spirit to give us a reading on the energy, a reading on the environment right now, what actions would be beneficial for all of us, what things should all of us be thinking about and being aware of as the moon moves through this phase and goes about her normal progression. So it kind of only makes sense to talk about the astrology because that is one thing that is affecting all of us, right? So we may not all be going through relationship issues or all going through family struggles or all getting new jobs and stepping into abundance or whatever it may be, but we are all living under the same cosmos. We're living under the same sky, the same planets, the same transits. And so that is one thing that unites all of us and that we're all experiencing together. So it makes sense to at least check in with that. I do not know it all. I'm going to give you guys some tips, some information about this moon phase, and some tips about how it could be beneficial to you, how you could use it to your benefit spiritually or magically if you're planning magical work. And I'll talk really just about the moon because that's the one planetary body that I really attune myself to. My whole body and life are very much impacted by what the moon is doing. So I have learned to pay attention to that to help myself out. But there's tons of things going on in the sky. Obviously, every single planet, every single star, every single everything is somewhere doing something, having some impact on the universe. So I encourage you to follow astrologers. I definitely encourage you to pull your birth chart. There's like no excuse. In fact, can I see emojis? Like, give me like a hands up for everyone who has pulled their birth chart. You have gone to a website, it's completely free. Tell me with a hand that you have pulled your birth chart at some point. You may not have it up in front of you right now or keep a copy on you or what have you, but I do want to know if you have pulled your birth chart before, because I want to see if you guys are actually listening, because I say this every single time we get together. So if you have not pulled your birth chart by now, what are you doing? So I want to know. Birth chart, yes. Ajna, good job. Who else? Tell me not just Ajna. Lou, Betty, very good, very good. Lou's a Sag moon. Ajna's a Sag rising. Awesome. So we got some Sages in the house. Hi, Cynthia. How are you? Good morning. And the raised hand tells me you've pulled your birth chart. That's awesome. Good job. If you are in here right now or you watch this video on a replay and you have not pulled your birth chart, please do that before our next live. It is a very important tool to have. If you know nothing in this world, please know yourselves. Know yourselves. That is the most important thing that we can do, is to know ourselves. It's absolutely critical on your spiritual and magical journeys that you know yourself. You don't need to be there yet, but the idea is to get to know yourself, because when you know yourself, you can trust yourself and you can love yourself. And that is a recipe for not only a really beautiful life, I think, but it also matters magically. It allows you to be a more proficient caster, and it allows you to be a more grounded witch, because you are in touch with nature. If you're in touch with yourself, you're not separate from nature. You are one with nature. And so if you know yourself, you also know a super important part of the natural world. So it's very critical to witching, I have learned in my life. So please do that. Let's get to know ourselves, where we memorize any books, correspondence charts, call on any spirits, deities, even ancestors. Let's make sure that getting to know ourselves is primary in our walk. Okay, so I want to see more hands next time, but very good job to everybody who has already pulled their birth chart. I'm going to tell you how to use it for today's moon phase. I remember you talking about it last time. Yep, get on it, Jeremy. Have it by next time. Super easy to do, completely free. A bajillion websites out there where you can calculate your birth chart. Different websites will go into different levels of depth. I personally like Cafe Astrology, I think it's called, cafeastrology.com. You will be able to not only see the physical chart and all of your placements and aspects and all of that good stuff, but it also gives a detailed, like, paragraph written out breakdown of what each of the placements means, and then what each of your house placements mean in your life. And that's super, super useful information. So make sure to do that. All right. Yes, ma'am. Okay, good. Very good. Oh, Cynthia, you're a Sag sun. Hey, hey, hey. All right, so you are a Sag representative. We have a Sag sun, a Sag moon, and a Sag rising. So Cynthia, Lou, and Ajna, you guys are our Sagittarius panel of representatives. Okay. So definitely tune into this because this new moon is in Sagittarius. And so you may be feeling it particularly strongly. But I'm going to tell everybody how we all look at our birth charts to have a really good idea of where in our lives this new moon Sagittarius energy will be showing up, or where in our lives we might want to call it in to help us. And thank you, Betty. Thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate you guys. Do all the things, folks, if you don't mind. Like this video, make sure to subscribe, click on the bell notification button, because I do these around the full moon or the new moon, but there's no set day because it depends on what the moon is doing when. So I try to come live either the day of, or if it's early in the morning, the day before, to give you time to kind of prepare if you're going to be doing stuff, rituals and things like that. So definitely make sure to click the notification, because that's a good way to know what's going on. Another good way to know what's going on is to join the coven, because I always post in our private Facebook group that I'm going to be coming live, and I also post in the community tab here on YouTube that I'm going to be coming live. So that's another place to check to see when that's going down. So yeah, I woke up late, jumped up real quick, got myself together as best I could, said my prayers, did a quick meditation, and was like, boom, I'm here. So I would have just waited until after the live to do all of that, but I got to get to the shop, so I had to get it done. And I think that's important. It's a side note, but I have been talking a lot about whatever it is that I can share about my own practice to help you guys, especially those of you who consider yourselves baby witches, and who are still trying to figure out how to go from that stage of just reading books and doing things occasionally to really feeling confident in your identity as a witch, and to really feel like this is something that you live and something that you are, rather than just something that you do. Divination is a very helpful aspect of that. Paying attention to what is happening in the cosmos is an important aspect of that. But having a daily ritual, I think, is critical to that. Super, super critical to that. So even if you have to fly through it, if you have to modify it, if you've got to do an abbreviated version for the day, having something that allows you to check in with yourself and check in with spirit every day, whether it's an hour-long meditation or just a 1-minute moment of mindfulness, is a very I don't want to say easy because commitment is not easy necessarily, but it's easy in the sense that like you don't have to buy it, you don't have to pay for it, you don't have to coordinate it with anybody else, you don't have to make something elaborate or anything like that. All you want to do is all you need is yourself to establish a daily ritual. So it's easy in that sense, and it's probably way more impactful. It's definitely way more impactful on who you are, and really gaining that confidence than even casting spells and stuff like that. When you realize that you are a spirit being in a body, like when you go beyond just saying that and you really realize that that's what you are, that you are a spirit within a body, it takes you to another level of understanding of like what you're doing here, why you're here, what you can do here in this earthly plane. And that has a huge impact on you even before you ever cast a successful spell, knowing that you are not this body that you see or this mind that's lying to you all the time. I want to donate for a reading. Is it possible to choose a deck though? So that's not what we're doing quite here today, Astarte. This is the live collective reading. So the reading will be one live collective reading. I'll be choosing the decks based on where I feel led and what I think feels right for the moon phase that we are in. Yes, thank you, Betty, and welcome, Astarte. But thank you so much for wanting to donate. If you would like to donate, you can super chat like Jeremy just did. Thank you so much, Jeremy. I appreciate you so much. You guys make these lives possible and all of that, because I do them for free. So that makes it possible. And you guys are contributing to our setup here. We've got this fancy new background and a new light, so that I'm not in the dark in the morning. And we are working towards a setup where I can actually have a second camera and show you guys the cards like up close while I'm reading. So your donations make a really big difference and really allow for these lives to happen. If you would like a private reading, in a private reading, sure, you can choose the deck, absolutely. I don't have every single deck in the world, so perhaps you're familiar with some of the decks that I use. I'm not a deck collector. I have maybe 10 that I work with all the time. But in a private reading, it's your time with me. So you can absolutely make a request for a deck. When you book a private reading with me, there's actually a box that comes up that asks you if there's anything you would like to share before your reading. You don't have to put anything in that box, but that would be a great place to put there a request for a particular deck. And if I have it, I'm happy to make sure it's there for the reading. So yeah, you can definitely do that. You can definitely do that. All right, so what's going on with this new moon? I have this oracle deck next to me, guys, and I'm a little bummed I woke up late because I was thinking about like doing some type of flip through and showing it to you. Can you guys see it? I can't see what you see. Okay, yeah. So this is called Anatomy of a Witch Oracle. And as you guys know, I only have one oracle deck, the Vintage Wisdom Oracle deck by Victoria Mosley. Has been holding me down for 8 years or something, maybe 10 years, close to it. And I have felt no desire or need to get any other oracle deck. And what's funny is people have gifted me decks, people have sent me decks to review and things like that, but it's always a tarot deck. I think the universe knows that I have no use for another oracle deck. I probably won't use it. But I was thinking the other day, I was like, it kind of would be good to have a second oracle deck, because now that I'm doing these lives in the morning at home, an oracle deck would be helpful because I do like to use them in readings. And sure enough, a week later, Llewellyn sends this in the mail, and it looks really pretty from the box. And I think I'm going to enjoy it. So I think this is going to become our oracle deck for our lives together. So I was thinking about doing a flip through, but can't get into all that this morning. So I will probably do a flip through video to show you guys the whole deck. I'll try to get that done before the full moon. I don't know, fuck it, I might open it anyway. I want to see it. Do you guys want me to open this deck? Will you tell me that? Let me know in the comments. Drop something. Yes, thumbs up. Do you guys want me to open this? We won't flip through it. I'll just open it and we'll maybe pull one card from it. Because I'm really tempted. Jeremy says yes. You want to see it too? Let me know what we think. It's okay if no. Don't feel pressure. If you feel like, you're not ready. I don't know if I'm ready, but I'm just like very tempted because it looks so pretty. Thoughts? Yes. We want to see it. Okay, so far Jeremy said yes. So if like one more person said yes. Okay. Cynthia said yes. Okay. All right, so we'll probably use this one. We'll flip through. I usually like to, when I do like my tarot flip through videos, I always like to start fresh. I try my best not to sneak any peeks or look through it before I do the flip through, so I can have like a first impression response. And then I usually like to give it its first shuffle on camera. But that's what I do with tarot decks. This is an oracle deck, so it's a little different. Okay. Here we go. It's going to be glare from the light. But Anatomy of a Witch Oracle. Discover the full power of your witch body. Cards for the Body, Mind, and Spirit by Laura Tempest Zakroff. If you don't know who Laura is, she is the author of Sigil Witchery, which is like the penultimate sigil book out there, and her newest book, Visual Alchemy, which is all about like incorporating sigils into art and creating art with sigils. And spoiler, she might be talking to us on season 2 of the podcast. So get to know her. All right, here we go. Box. Ooh, yay. Magnetized box. I like that. Okay, so that means the box is definitely intended to be kept. And then we've got a very nice, pretty thick guidebook. A guide to being an embodied witch. And who did the art? Because it's really pretty. Did she do these herself? She might have done these herself. Good morning, JB. Welcome. Ooh, she's doing a calendar for Llewellyn for 2023. Yeah, well, duh. I mean, she's an artist. So, yeah, I thought maybe she worked with an illustrator, but I think this is totally her creation. So that's Laura. What's up, Laura? Okay. Cool. All right. So, new book smell. Love it. All right. So these are the cards. Ooh. Very, large, like oracle decks usually are. And then they have this pretty, like, kind of marble on the back. Beautiful. Okay. All right. We'll pull a card from that for today. Alrighty. So what is going on the skies? Yeah, I love the back too. It's kind of giving like flames / cosmos / maybe slightly vaginal. But anytime I see like a type of shape, I immediately think divine feminine vagina. That's where my mind goes. Too many Virginia Woolf things as a kid, I think. But all right, so New moon in Sagittarius is happening tonight, Wednesday, November 23rd at 5:57 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you are not on the East Coast, do your calculations. That would be 2:57 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, though I don't know if anybody from the West Coast is joining us because it is 5:30 in the morning over there. So for my West Coast witches, if you are tuning in later, 2:57 is the peak of the new moon, and she will be in Sagittarius. If you don't know what the new moon is, get it together. But the moon goes through 28 days of phases, from the dark moon, where we essentially see nothing of her, just the dark side of her, to full, when we see a full circle in the sky. And when the moon is new, it is immediately after the dark period. It is that very first sliver of light that begins to emerge, is what I think of as the new moon. Some witches are different, but for me, when the moon is totally black, yes, Georgia O'Keeffe, that's what I was thinking, not Virginia Woolf, though she makes me think about vaginas too, quite frankly. If you know Virginia Woolf's writing, that is in alignment. But yes, I'm talking about Georgia O'Keeffe's paintings. Yeah. But yes, I kind of put them together. I learned about them at the same time in high school. So, but yeah, so the new moon is totally dark, and then she begins to come back to us with that tiny sliver of light. And that tiny sliver of light is her re-emerging. And so the energy with that, as you can imagine, going from darkness and beginning to emerge and grow, is usually centered around manifestation, starting over, starting new projects, planting new seeds, and watching that grow as she grows into her full body, or manifesting for the long term, but just using that energy to get things started. So the new moon is really beautiful, really wonderful, starting over type of energy. Who can tell me what the new moon means for me? What is my regular new moon ritual? Let's see who's paying attention at this point. I do not stress myself with elaborate rituals on the new moon or the full moon. If I have some work that needs to be done magically, then, and it makes sense for that time, then I will do it. But typically there's no elaborate ritual. I just do one thing every full moon, and I do one thing every new moon. Who knows? Who remembers? What is that? And you do not have to do this. I'm just mentioning this because I'm really starting to remind you guys about these regular rituals that we do, because the regular rituals that we do, whether they're daily or with a particular moon phase or a particular season or what have you, these rituals really help us to be witches in real life, witches in our daily lives, rather than just at moments. I feel like JB maybe should know, because was it JB that I was saying you actually do this, or was it Jeremy I was saying you actually do this? Val, I don't really know what to make of that comment. I'm going to leave it hidden. Okay? YouTube hid it. I'm going to leave it hidden. So I don't know what to make of that. I'll be honest. Jeremy says, I don't know. I'm kind of new. JB, call down the goddess. Not on the new moon, typically. sometimes if that matters, but that's not something I do every new moon. Come on, y'all. I have faith in you. I call down the goddess every full moon into my bath. And I'll do a drawing down of the goddess on the new moon if I'm doing something else, like if I've got something going on where that's significant. But it's even simpler than that. It's something that I do personally for myself to allow myself to restart and allow my body to restart. That's a hint. Hint. E. Harris, I don't know, I just got here. Welcome, E. Harris. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Don't worry, you'll catch up. You'll catch up quick. Yes, Betty. Woo! Betty got it. Yes, Betty. Thank you, girl. I fast every new moon. Folks, come on now. We've been doing this for a while. I fast every new moon, okay? That is the way that I let my body take advantage of the newness of the energy that the new moon is giving us. I fast so that my physical body can also get a restart. So I will be fasting today. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving for some people. It's not for me. I don't celebrate that holiday anymore. And I am contemplating extending my fast to include tomorrow as well. So that would be my first 2-day fast. I usually do 24 hours. I ate at like 9 o'clock last night. So all day today, I will be drinking water, tea, infusions, and smoothies, like just blended up fruit or blended up vegetables throughout the day. And then at like 9 o'clock tonight, I will, break my fast with a very small meal and then etc. But I might do 2 days. So I might give myself like a small meal tonight and then start over, and also during the day tomorrow not eat any solid foods. Something, and I no judgment on folks in terms of like what they are doing tomorrow. If you celebrate that day, you celebrate that day. I don't judge you for that. But I was listening to Dick Gregory, who many of you probably don't know, but Dick Gregory was a civil rights activist and actor, and just somebody worth looking up and listening to. And he made a very interesting point about Thanksgiving. My decision not to celebrate Thanksgiving is definitely rooted in my care and compassion for my Indigenous cousins, and just no longer feeling in alignment with like the values of the holiday and it being particularly at this time. I feel like the values of friends, of family, of gathering, of reaping the harvest, all those things to me can happen at any time. And I don't know why we choose a time that is so devastating and sad for our fellow humans. But aside from that, another thing that I think is weird that I heard Dick Gregory articulate is, if the idea of Thanksgiving is supposed to be giving thanks to the land, giving thanks to Mother Nature for all of her abundance and all of that stuff, isn't it kind of weird how we go about it? Like if you have a job and you work for somebody and they pay you to do work, and you decided that, they pay you, they make it possible for you to live, to eat, to survive, and you decide that you want to thank your boss. They're a really great boss, and you're like, I want to thank my boss. Would you thank your boss by saying, hey boss, I'm going to take the next 2 weeks off, paid. I'm not going to do any work for you, but I want you to give me extra. And I'm just going to take it and enjoy the extra. And that's how I'm going to say thanks to you. Or would you say something like, hey boss, I'm going to come in on my day off and do some work, no pay. I appreciate you and all that you make possible for me. You make it possible for me to live. I'm going to give back to you. You would probably say the latter makes more sense in terms of saying thank you. to somebody who gives you your livelihood, right? So we want to thank Mother Earth for all that she gives us and all of her abundance. Why do we then double up on how much we are taking from her? Take more, waste more, create double the amount of trash, take 3-4 times as much food, kill off however many more thousands of turkeys and pigs and chickens and all of this stuff. Why would we take more from her if the idea is to thank her for all that she has given us? Wouldn't it make a little bit more sense to give back to her on a day of Thanksgiving that's supposed to be about thanking the earth? Wouldn't we maybe fast and not eat? We would maybe cut down on how much waste we make that day. We would maybe give back, maybe plant some trees or clean up the beaches or, plant things that will grow over the winter, like daffodils and things like that. Like, wouldn't you give back as a way of giving thanks rather than just taking more? Are we hungrier on Thanksgiving than we are the day before? Nope. But we all sit there and gorge ourselves and eat 2-3 times more food than we normally would. And then we're like, thank you. This is how I give thanks to you, Mother Earth. Oh, I'm going to eat a bunch of food that I don't really need. It doesn't make sense to me on either front. So I'm thinking about tomorrow also fasting because I feel like spiritually it will feel right for me, but I also feel like physically it makes more sense. If I want to thank Mother Earth for all that she's given me, I might want to spend the day taking less from her and maybe thinking of some ways that I can give back to her. So yes, Dick Gregory is fascinating. Yeah, he really is. I'm glad you're familiar, JB. I didn't know that if anybody else would be familiar. Hi, Jeanette. Welcome. So anywho, that's my take on Thanksgiving and fasting. So I might be doing that tomorrow. So wish me luck because it'll be my first 2-day fast. But the new moon, like I was saying, is about starting over, starting fresh, planting new seeds. It's a great time for manifestation, for planting a seed of something that you want to see grow in your life. The new moon in Sagittarius is a particularly expansive energy, a particularly visionary aspect or sign. Sagittarius energy enjoys travel and exploration, trying new things, thinking outside of the box in terms of where they live and how. And Sagittarius energy is very interested in seeing the world, experiencing new things and new places, and can get kind of restless when it is confined or strained and things like that. So this is great energy for exploring new things, starting new things, for travel, manifesting some trips and things like that, like in a general sense. But it's a good idea to take a look at your chart to find out how this transit can actually impact you specifically, right? So the general energy, Gaia says hello. So the general energy is of starting over, manifesting new things, planting new seeds, new beginnings, which of course mean endings as well. So celebrating our endings, letting things go and starting fresh. And Sagittarius energy, the moon being in the sign of Sagittarius, means collectively for all of us starting fresh as it relates to travel, to expanding ourselves, to growing things, growing new ventures, trying new things, etc., is a good idea, or is a good area where this energy could be focused, right? Specifically for each of you, what you want to do to find out how the new moon in Sagittarius is showing up in your life, or what area of your life that energy would be most beneficial, is to look at your birth charts Okay, so that's why I say it's about that time. You know what I'm saying? Look it up, take a screenshot, keep it on your phone, or print out a sheet or what have you, so you can refer to it whenever you hear about these transits, because how it impacts the general energy is definitely helpful for sure, but knowing specifically how it will impact you or how it might show up in your life is even more helpful, right? I say about restlessness. Yeah, Sagittarius can get very restless if that energy is not allowed to expand. It doesn't do well when it's constrained and all of that stuff. I definitely, my heart went out to all the Sagittariuses during quarantine, because that's probably crazy. So, how will this impact you? How do you find that out? You are going to go to your birth chart and you are going to look for Sagittarius. And everyone has all of the signs in your chart. You may not have a placement in a sign, meaning you may not have a planet that falls in a sign, but all 12 signs of the zodiac were present in the sky when you were born. And you're going to want to look at 1 degree of Sagittarius, because this new moon is happening at 1 degree of Sagittarius. Once you find 1 degree of Sagittarius on the outside of the circle of your chart, then you're going to look on the inside circle of your chart to see what house 1 degree of Sagittarius falls in. And the theme of that house, the area of your life of that house, is the area of your life where this new moon, new expansion energy is going to be showing up, or would be the most helpful to call into. So for me, 1 degree of Sagittarius falls in my second house. The second house is the house of values and possessions. It's ruled by Taurus, which is ruled by Venus. And that house is all about money, investments, your physical and material environment, and also within you, your self-worth, your self-value, how you take care of yourself, because in a way our body is sort of a possession. It's the tool we've been given to navigate this lifetime. So the second house is also the house of like how we care for ourselves, how we adorn ourselves, how we invest in ourselves, what money or time or energy we spend on ourselves, and all of that good stuff. So for me, it would be very beneficial for me to plant a new seed or to manifest something around the areas of money, of material wealth, of my physical environment, or of my my body's investment in my body. So I thought that was really helpful to know that if I'm going to do any work this new moon, any magical work, that would be where I would want to focus. And of course, I could cast a spell about 1,000,000 things or do a ritual about 1,000,000 things. But by doing something that's in alignment with what's going on in the cosmos and what's going on in my own cosmos, I have a much higher rate of success. Because so many things are in alignment with that. So if I wanted to do some work to manifest prosperity, to manifest a new physical environment, or improvements there, to manifest greater improvements with my body, or if I wanted to do some type of a ritual to help me with my self-worth, my value, and analyzing myself and what what my value is to myself and to the world, all of those types of things would be great to do for this new moon. Okay, so is it a good idea for you to be doing work on money and your material environment and things like that? Maybe. It wouldn't hurt. You could go ahead and just use this expansive new moon energy to do whatever you like. But I do think it's a good idea to look at your chart and see exactly where this is showing up in your life, and tailor yourself accordingly. Okay? So I'm excited because I was thinking about that, and just as I was thinking about that, one of the elders that I really love and like to stay connected to is Yeye Louisa Tish. If you don't know her, get to know her. She is an Oshun priestess. She is a priestess of the Yoruba Lukumi tradition, and she is the author of Jambalaya. This is one of the most important books I've ever read. You guys are always interested in books, especially for any of you who are interested in hoodoo or any of the other ATRs. This is a must read. A must read. It's like 30 years old now at this point, and it is a classic in women's studies, in Black studies, and in the ATRs. So grab it just in time for her newest book. She's finally writing another one that's available for pre-order. Both this book and her next book are listed in my Amazon book list, so you can check it out there on Amazon if you want to get it. Love that book. Ajna, yes. Jambalaya is one of the most important books I've ever read. I think I'm going to make sure that the book club reads it together because I want to give it another read. But I was listening to Yeye Tish speak, and she was talking about where we are in the world. And interestingly, I've been hearing a lot of the elders talking about this. So I'm not a fearmonger. I don't want to make anyone afraid about anything or anything like that. But if you're tuned into some of the same elders that I am, you will notice that they have all been talking increasingly about food shortages and the importance of being able to sustain ourselves. And Yeye Tish always says we need to have the abundance and the prosperity to be able to provide food, shelter, clothing, transportation, and medicine to ourselves, our families, and our people. Okay, and if you are a witch, I would say right now that is the most important thing that you can be doing and that you can do as a practitioner. How do you make sure that you and your loved ones and your community have food, water, shelter, clothing, transportation, and medicine? Okay. And being prosperous relates to that because we live in a world where these things cost money for better or for worse. And so having money is not just about bragging to the neighbors or being flashy. Having money is about being able to provide those things when those things are scarce or hard to come by. So stocking up on an abundance is more than just money. So money helps you get those things, but turn that money into canned goods, beans, rice, a backup water source, backup electrical sources. The elders have seen this happen before, and there is much concern that there are going to be some potentially manipulated food shortages and things like that, and electrical shortages maybe as well. So stock up on those things and be prepared to have those things. And so my mind is in that place of like, are my people okay? Does my family have all of those things in the event that they're not readily available for a period of time, and all that stuff? And so I want to make sure that I am abundant. I want to make sure that I am able to provide and well stocked up. And my purpose in this life goes beyond myself and my immediate family into my magical community as well. So with BronxWitch HQ, Spirit is showing me that is a place of refuge and potentially a place where people might need to go for shelter, for food, for protection. I'm very grateful. The building that I'm in, I accidentally learned this. I was talking to like one of the contractor or somebody who happened to be in the building doing repairs, and I was like, man, this building is solid, huh? Like it's one of these old 1930s Bronx tenement buildings. It is thick. Everything is made out of concrete and metal. It's a very heavy building, and it feels heavy and it looks heavy. And he was like, yeah, I don't know if you know, but this building could be a bomb shelter because the whole basement, everything is concrete. And everything's really sturdy. It's basically like dug out of the earth. And he was like, this building's really secure. And I was like, wow, that is amazing. That is amazing that HQ is located in a building like that. God forbid there be some environmental disaster. HQ is literally a place where you could bunker down. I'm really grateful that I have that space, and I want to make sure that I have the resources to keep it fully stocked, to make sure that it's a place that people could go to in the event of shortages of some kind. And so that means that monetarily, I've got to have those resources. So I was listening to Yeye Tish, and she is leading a new moon money pouring ritual. So, Ajna, you have this book, and joining the book club, you just want to join our coven. The book club is available to everybody at the seeker level in the BronxWitch Coven, and you can learn more about the coven on our website, bronxwitch.com/memberships. There's also some videos on this channel explaining it, but just click the join button if you're subscribed. Just click the join button on my channel, and it will take you to the page that breaks down the levels, and just make sure you join at the seeker level. But the money pouring ritual is in this book, Ajna. So if you have a copy, it is on page 35 in this book, okay? So she's going to be doing, like a public ritual. But if you're doing it by yourself, the details of the ritual is very simple, are in this book. So I was like, oh, you know what? For the new moon, I want to join her. I want to do this money pouring ritual. I want to make sure that I have the abundance in order to provide for my community and all of that good stuff. Lou, I know where to run now. Yep, come to HQ. I'm not even kidding about that. Come to HQ. God forbid we find ourselves in that type of a situation. It is one of the most secure buildings in the whole neighborhood. Not to mention we have like a doorman and all of that stuff at the front. But I want to join her in this ritual, and it just so happens. But we know nothing is a coincidence, right? So it just so happens that I'm bringing on board 3 shop apprentices at the shop. I'm very, very excited. I've got 3 amazing local witches who have agreed to donate their time to the shop to help me with HQ in exchange for mentorship, in exchange for space to do their own readings and offer their own services and all of that stuff. And I'm so excited to offer that to them. But there's 3 of them. And the money pouring ritual is best done with an even number of people, particularly women in the community. Hello. So they don't know it yet. We have an orientation on Friday, but I'm going to be inviting them to join me in this money pouring ritual, and we are going to make this a regular new moon ritual at the shop for me and the apprentices, so that every new moon we reset the shop and we restate our intentions to the universe to be a source of abundance for the witchy community here in New York, here in the Bronx. And we will be uniting our forces around that ritual to call in wealth and abundance and success and prosperity in our material environment, so that we can provide for the community in the event that people need it, So I'm excited about doing a ritual with other witches. I'm not in a coven, and I never have been, so that's not something that I do often. And I think that the new moon in Sagittarius is the perfect time to start us off with this ritual, because it is so wonderfully aligned personally for me, being that 1 degree of Sagittarius is in my 2nd house, but also with the universal energy of Sagittarius being the sign of expansion and growth, and all of that good stuff. So I'm excited. So just throwing that out there, sharing that with you guys, giving you some ideas of how you can use this new moon in Sagittarius energy to benefit you as well. Yeah, Cynthia, I think I mentioned this, honey. You do not have to be on Facebook to be a part of the coven or to do book club. I have mentioned this before, my love. The Facebook group is simply a private group that you can choose to join as a coven member if you would like to interact on Facebook. One of the benefits of the Facebook group is that, unlike this format where I do everything and all you can do is comment, The Facebook group allows you to also post videos, post pictures, start events, etc. So if you want to have more engagement with the group, you can. But the book club, the support group, and all of the other things that we do in the coven have nothing to do with the Facebook group. You do not need to join it to participate. Our monthly meetings happen via Zoom, and the Zoom link is posted here on YouTube in the community tab for seeker level members. Okay, so you already have everything you need to join us for book club meetings. But if you are not a coven member, you can still follow along. I do tend to post about what book we're reading, not always, so joining the coven is the best way to know. But if I post about what we're reading, just grab the book and read along. Being a part of the coven means you get to interact with us in Zoom sessions and actually discuss the book and talk about the book. But you can also just read along and know that your fellow witches are reading it with you. Yes, Yeye is doing some Zoom. She's doing her new moon ritual, the money pouring ritual by Zoom. So definitely follow her. She's doing that. I'm not sure what day, but she's doing that sometime soon. But yeah, you do not need to have Facebook to join the coven. You do not need to have Facebook to do any of the coven things, except for be in the Facebook group. That's just an extra space that allows for more engagement than like YouTube or Instagram does, but it is not necessary. All of our in-person sessions, our private in-person sessions, happen via Zoom, and the link is posted here on YouTube. So if you are here on YouTube, you will be able to get the link. Yes. And the best thing to do, Cynthia, is to go to the website, bronxwitch.com, and under Coven, click on memberships. Because there, all of the perks are broken down, written out for you. And there's also links to 2 different videos that I have made that break it down. So at this point, guys, I have done all that I can to help you know what the coven is all about, how to join it, and what we do. You are going to have to meet me halfway and actually avail yourself of that information that I have put in many different forms and many different places. Good morning, Star. How are you? Happy new moon in Sag. Sorry for the noise, guys. I hope it's not too much. We have these wahoos in the neighborhood that love to do construction projects at 9 in the morning. Jeremy, you like the Facebook group. It helps with keeping you informed. I agree. There's definitely benefits to being in the Facebook group. You get to actually interact with each other. I love seeing you guys talking to each other and posting things. Those are super cool Yule ornament ideas. Thank you for that. I'm like, genius. Love that idea. So fun stuff like that you guys are doing in your lives, you actually get to post. Here, you can't post anything. You can maybe mention it in a comment, but if you've got pictures of your Yule decorations, if you've got a spell that you're working on that you want to share, a new book that you've got, questions, people drop spell questions and other people chime in about what they would do and stuff. So it is a great way to actually be able to interact with each other, but it's not necessary to be a part of the coven. It's just one of the many perks that you can take advantage of. Okay? So that's what's going on astrologically and how you can, utilize this energy to your benefit. We'll get into the details of the reading now. So this is a live collective reading. If you are interested in private readings with me, check the description box down below or my website, bronxwitch.com, to book readings with me. If you're not sure if you need a reading, you can always book a consultation with me and sit with me for a few minutes, and we can talk about what you might want to avail yourself of in terms of my services. But this is a reading for the collective, so we'll be reading the general energy that we are all being impacted by and get an idea of what we can do with that, what we might want to take a look at in our lives while the moon is in this phase or as she's moving through these phases. Definitely make sure to like this video so that other people see it, so YouTube shows it to other folks who might benefit from it. Click the bell, like I said, so you're notified the next time we go live. It changes every time because the moon changes every time. I have begun doing something that I really like with the coven, which is going live for high tea. High tea. So if you would like to hang out during a high tea session, you might consider joining the coven. Our last high tea, we hung out and made our vision boards for the year. So I hope you guys got your vision boards done. And I like to do them kind of around the full moon because that's the only time where I smoke any herbs. And so it's fun to come together and smoke, have some tea, and do some things with you guys. So definitely be on the lookout, Coven guys, for more high tea lives. We have the book club. We have the Witches of Color support group. So if you are a BIPOC witch and you feel like you need community and want to meet other witches of color, that is another monthly Zoom session that we have in the coven. So it's another reason to join the coven. And then we have the private Facebook group, which you can, no pressure to join if you are a coven member, but that's an extra thing that you can join once you become a coven member. I have noticed some folks who tune into the lives attempting to join the Facebook group before becoming a coven member. You will be declined. Our Facebook group moderator, Irene, will decline you because it is only open to folks who have actually become paid members here through YouTube. So start here, become a coven member, and then request access to the private Facebook group, and we'll let you in. All right. If this message resonates with you, you can definitely thank me by dropping a super chat. Your super chats and your super thanks, if you're watching this on replay, you can also drop a super thanks. Those are very, very helpful. They are helping us to, upgrade our situation. So thanks to you guys, we have a light so that we can see so early in the morning, and we have this very fancy background that is very helpful because I'm able to put up extra information for you guys and stream your comments right to the screen in case you're on a device where you can't see the chat. So your super chats and your super thanks are helping to make these lives possible. So thank you guys so much. All right. So that's my spiel. Oh, I love that, Star, collecting sticks and leaves so you can craft your own Yule decorations. I love that. Jeremy, I think, posted some really cool handmade Yule decorations that are just made out of like flour and water. So genius. I'm kind of lazy. Every year I do my not every year, but when we would have a tree, I would make my dried apple slices ornaments. And one year I found the most perfect log outside. So I brought it indoors and it was my Yule log. So I definitely feel like Yule is a great, well, they all are, but I think Yule is particularly fun for DIY natural decorations and stuff, because you can find pine cones and sweet gum balls and all of these fallen branches and leaves that have changed to all kinds of beautiful colors. So you have all this beautiful natural material for making your own decorations. I love that. Love that. Oh, and before we get into it, I just want to say thank you so much. I got a beautiful box in the mail of various stones and natural things and handmade items from one of our community members, Felicia. So shout out to you, Felicia. One of the things in this box, if you guys can see, I don't know if the camera is going to give the color any justice, but this beautiful piece of natural fluorite. Fluorite is very special to me. It's a stone I work with a lot for psychic development, and I prefer natural stones. And this is just, something is right when it literally fits exactly into the palm of your hand. It feels so good to hold this stone. I was holding it for an hour the other night, and it feels so, so good. So shout out to you, Felicia. Thank you so, so much. You guys do not have to send me things. So this was so beautiful that you thought to share this with me, and she's been rocking with me during my readings. So you'll be seeing her during the live readings for sure. Can you guys hear me okay? Just let me know. New York City be wilding really early in the morning. So like, let me know if the construction is too much. I think I have a microphone. Thank you, X Collective. Thank you, Lou. Thank you so much for your support. 1111. Yes, I received that. Thank you so, so much. Yes, we are getting closer and closer. I wish I could put like a ticker or whatever for how much has been raised. We are getting closer to being able to have a second camera set up. That's my goal. So you can see the cards even better. So we're going to get into the reading. I'm going to start off by pulling a card from this Anatomy of a Witch Oracle by Laura Zakroff. And I'll use the guidebook because this is a brand new deck for all of us. And that'll be cool. And then I'll be pulling from my usual deck, the Mahogany Tarot, which has become one of my go-to RWS decks. But yeah, let me know how the sound is. Let me know if I have music on, so hopefully that's drowning out the noise. Ooh, it definitely shuffles nicely. And it's 48 cards, but it's not thick, which I appreciate because my little hands, some decks I just can't handle. And these are big cards for me, but they're not thick, which is nice. All right. So while you guys let me know if you can hear me, I'm just going to take a moment for myself. Ground a little bit, center. Give honor and thanks to our ancestors, guides, guardians, angels, and all of those that walk with us, come to us when called. Thanking them for the message for this collective. And thanking everyone who decided to be here this morning or who couldn't be here but is with us in spirit. All right. I'm not seeing any complaints on the sound, so I'm assuming you guys can hear me. That's all right. Thank you. All right. Ooh, this deck is really easy to shuffle. I love that. We're definitely going to be working with this, I think. Does your cat ever do that? Where she's like in another room and like cries like she's lost? My cat does that. She'll just be like in the next room and she'll be like, wah, wah, wah. And then we'll call her and she's like runs over and it's like, did you get lost in the hallway? Are you okay? Are you okay, kitty? Are you okay? I can hear her jingling along. Are you okay? Did you get lost? Oh, she's getting on the couch? We got this new litter that's terrible. It's like made out of baking soda or something, and she's just leaving little white paw prints all over everything. Hey, kitty. Okay, hi. Hi, kitty. Hi. Are you toast dirty? Oh, you told it dirty? You want to say hi to the witches? No. Huh? Come here. Say hi to the people. Hi, people. This is Eartha Kitty. Yeah, she has dirty paws. It's not her fault because her litter is just sucky. Right? It's not her fault. Oh no, she said no. No, it's not my fault. That's right, it's not your fault. I know. Did you guys hear that? I said, is it your fault? She goes, no. Okay. Alright. The spirit for our message for this new moon is Sagittarius. What do we need to know? What can we expect? What is the energy? New moon, Sagittarius. She is a chunky kitty. Yeah, she's 14 pounds. Ooh, okay. So our oracle message is witch bottle. Witch bottle. Do you guys see that? So let's see what Laura is representing here with the witch bottle. So we've got some magical artifacts here. A large corked and wax sealed bottle is full of a mysterious liquid and other items, while a smaller bitters bottle stands nearby. An array of witch balls hang above them. Speaking of Yule decorations, depending on the folklore, witch balls and bottles are made by witches and magical practitioners, but can also be procured and used to ward against curses thrown by them. A witch bottle might contain urine, vinegar, hair, fingernail clippings, red thread, thorns, coins, ash, nails, pins, salt, blood, red wine, or herbs. Witches' bottles are typically buried on the edge of a property or hidden somewhere within a home to capture and contain evil forces. Witch balls are decorative glass spheres that are prominently hung in windows to ward off bad luck and evil spirits. They are not usually filled with anything like a witch's bottle, but instead the colors, patterns, and shapes made by the glass do the apotropic work. The keywords here are fascinate, distract, and mesmerize. And in many ways, both witch bottles and balls are meant to redirect attention. Are you being distracted by others, leading to disruptions in your work? If so, you could construct a witch bottle or hang a witch ball in your work area to deflect any unwanted energies. All right. Let that sit with us here. So the energy of this new moon in Sagittarius relates to the witch's bottle, which is so interesting. I would definitely use this time to protect my surroundings. We talked about how, for me, 1 degree of Sagittarius is in my second house of material environments. And so this is a reminder to me to remember to protect that space, especially if I'm going to be working on drawing in more abundance and more prosperity. I need to make sure that I am protecting all of the things that we are growing at HQ. This is an important reminder for me to make sure that my protective wards are in place, which they are, but they could use some feeding and some attention. So I want to make sure that I do that. I might construct a witch's bottle to put in HQ somewhere, to hide somewhere, or put up some witch's balls for an extra layer of protection. Because as we grow, I definitely want to make sure that I do that. But we're not just talking about magically. We're also talking about in the mundane. How are you protecting the things that you have? How are you deflecting any negative energy that might be coming your way, or ill intentions that might be coming your way? At HQ, do we have a safe? Is the money that people are buying secure? Is our credit card processor safe and secure? So credit information is not taken. Are our bank accounts safe and secure so that they are protected from fraud? Things like that. So in the magic and in the mundane, the witch's bottle reminds us to keep up our protective wards and protect the things that we are, where we feel safe, protect our homes and our safe spaces. Okay. Have you seen all the cats and kittens on 166th Street? I always want to take one home. You mean at the Andrew Freeman house? Yes, I am familiar with all the kitties over there. They might let you take them home. They will follow you because they're so used to people feeding them. So if you seem like you might feed them, they will follow you. So they're pretty well taken care of over there. Don't get it twisted. They may be strays, but they are abundant. So many people in the neighborhood feed them there. There's never a shortage of food. They have little cat houses. I don't know who constructed them, but they have like little cat covers and cat houses. So like they're good. Very good, Cynthia. Witch bottle behind your front door. Excellent. That's a great way to put it, by the way, for those of you who don't have a yard to bury things in. A witch's bottle behind the front door is a great place. Right at our front door at HQ, you will see our protective wards. We have a red brick that has been enchanted as a protective ward. We now have a beautiful jar of protection salts that Felicia made for me, along with the altars of various protective spirits. What are you? Oh, Kitty. Oh, yeah. Now that Kitty's been on camera, she's all acting up. The celebrity went to her head. Cinnamon broom? Oh, Trader Joe's. I'm trying to find a cinnamon broom? Trader Joe's. This time of year, Trader Joe's pulls out the cinnamon brooms. They're right in the front. We have a cinnamon broom at the shop as well, right on the back of the door. And I put out a big bowl of pine cones covered in balsam and cinnamon essential oil right at the front door. So keep your protections up. Spirit wants to remind us for this new moon in Sagittarius, all of the things that you are expanding, all the things that you are manifesting and growing, you are going to want to make sure to protect those things. So as we grow, as we expand, sometimes it draws the wrong attention. So we want to make sure that we are deflecting the evil eye, deflecting jealous onlookers, deflecting those who might not wish you well or who might want to abscond of your growth. Good morning, Jenna. Welcome. Welcome. Yeah, those cats are well taken care of over there, Lou. I wouldn't even worry about them. But it is very hard to not be tempted to take them with you because they are so cute. All right. Let's get into the heart of the message here. For this new moon, we're starting over, planting new seeds, beginning new things. What do we want to focus on? How is this energy affecting the collective? All right. Well, okay, so as I was shuffling, folks, the Six of Wands popped out to us. right away and was just like, hey, it's time. It definitely feels like as a collective, many of us really want to be in a place where we are being acknowledged for the work that we've been doing, acknowledged for our skills, acknowledged for our talents, and the ways in which we show up. It's so interesting that Valentonia earlier was like, our leader, because even though I'm like, not necessarily super comfortable with that, I am starting to come to terms with the fact that that is a role that I play. That is something that I am doing in my walk with HQ, with these platforms, that just by sharing what I'm going through, what I'm doing, my practices and things like that, I am in fact something of a leader to folks. And I don't know why I have such like discomfort with that idea, but it's my own hang up or whatever. But that's the space that I'm in, and that's where I'm stepping into, I think. And High Priestess Allie, yeah, so that makes me really weird. I don't know why. Especially as like a little witch, my dream was like, I'm gonna be a high priestess one day. I'm gonna have a coven of witches. And now that it's happening, I feel all of this hesitation and all of this doubt about like whether or not I'm worthy, whether or not I'm really qualified, whether or not that's appropriate. And I very much like kind of cringe at the idea, and I'm working through that. We talked a little bit about 1 degree of Sagittarius falling in my second house, and that relating to material possessions and value, but also to personal value. So that's work that this moon phase would probably really help me with, and I might want to sit with that this week and spend some time thinking about, why is it so hard for me to be comfortable with people saying, you are our leader, we take direction from you, you are telling us what to do, you are guiding us. Like, why is that hard for me? So this is something for the collective energy. It isn't just me going through this. This is something that many of us are going through, trying to see ourselves in a leadership role and being comfortable with accepting the attention or the praise or the accolades that come with the work that we do. It is okay to be honored and applauded and put into a position of like an elevated position by the people around you. It's not a power grab, and it's not coming from a place of conceit. It's coming from a place of knowing your value and having worked to get there. In the 6 of Wands, we are not thrust into a position where people are looking to us or celebrating us for nothing. Okay, the laurel wreath is there to remind us that we are victorious. We have overcome things that other people want to overcome, that we have accomplished things that other people want to accomplish. And so we've been put up on this high horse, literally. Hi, Felicia. We were just talking about you, my dear. I have my fluoride here. Welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I sent you an email to thank you for the beautiful things that you sent me, and to tell you a little bit about how Spirit used you to bring some things into my life that you could never know exactly how on time and how significant the things you sent me really are. So welcome, just in time. But yeah, so for many of you, we've been working really hard. We've been working to get to a certain point in our lives, and the people around us see that. They see our accomplishments, they see our successes, they see our value, and they're trying to put us up on that high horse and say, yes, lead us, show us how you did it. We want to be where you are. And this Sagittarius energy is very much about expanding your reach, impacting more than just yourselves and just the folks around you, and growing in your path, growing in your vision, beginning to execute your vision. So it's very interesting to me that this card popped out personally. So I pray that resonates with you guys as well. In terms of the nitty gritty of the message, I asked Spirit what we want to focus on with this, and we have the 5 of Pentacles. So sometimes I'm like, these collective readings, they resonate for me so hard. And I'm always like, I hope it resonates for other people too, as hard as it does for me, because we were talking earlier, 1 degree of Sagittarius falls in my second house, the house of material possessions. And so this new moon is, for many of us, going to be a really good time to focus on our sense of lack, our money mindsets, our investments, our personal worth, and our physical worth. What assets do we have? What money do we have? How can we bring more of that into our lives? As well as, what do we see for our personal value? Do we value ourselves? Do we make the right investments in ourselves so that we can truly be as abundant as we can be? So for me, because 1 degree of Sagittarius falls in my second house, doing some type of money work is absolutely excellent. So that's why I'm doing the money drawing ritual with the I almost said the coven witches, with the shop apprentices that are coming in this week. We're going to be focusing on drawing in prosperity to this community, which is a very underserved community, to our shop, to ourselves, so that we can then turn around and be there for others, because that's a very strong theme in the 5 of Pentacles, not just what you do for yourself, but how your prosperity translates into a better circumstance for the people around you and the people who might be following you or depending on you. So for me, doing that type of work is very appropriate. Look at your birth charts and see what house 1 degree of Sagittarius falls for you, to get a better idea of how this new moon's energy could be best utilized for you, or how it might show up in your life. But for the whole collective, because we're all living under this new moon in Sagittarius, no matter where 1 degree of Sagittarius falls in your chart, we're all experiencing the new moon in this sign. And so for all of us, giving some thought, or potentially doing ritual or some type of magical work around our financial status would be very beneficial. The new moon is a great time to plant a new seed, to start fresh, to manifest something new, to start putting our energy into a new way of being, or new projects that might bring prosperity and abundance into our lives. So this is a great time to focus on that. I would definitely look into, just check in on that in your life. Could we all benefit from more prosperity? Absolutely. So what does that look like in your life? How might your feelings of lack, your situation of lack, or your inability to see your own value and your own self-worth, how might we improve that using this new moon in Sagittarius energy to help us there? Okay, so money work, prosperity work, inner value work, some type of self-care, protection work, all of these things. I was actually talking to Jenna about this in our episode, if you guys caught yesterday's episode of the BetterWitch podcast, but we talked about setting up boundaries, and how setting up boundaries is a reflection of your abundance. If you do not set up protections, if you do not set up a fence around what you are, who you are, what you're building, what you're creating, you are telling the universe and everybody else, this isn't really valuable. It's not really worth anything, right? By setting up our protective wards, by setting up a protective boundary around ourselves, whether physically, literally with witches' bottles and witches' balls, or symbolically by setting up boundaries and then sticking to them, we are telling the universe, we're telling ourselves, we're telling the world that, hey, what I have is valuable. What I am is valuable. Therefore, I protect it in these ways. Okay? So checking in with yourself and making sure that you are honoring and increasing your abundance, for some of us, might look like prosperity work, kind of like straightforward, traditional prosperity spells and things like that. But for some of us, it might be protective work, where we're not calling things in, greater abundance, et cetera, but we are setting up protections to keep us from being out in the cold. We are setting up protection so that what we have built, what we have saved, what we have earned is safe and sound. And sometimes we fail to do that, not because we don't know that it's important, but because we are selling ourselves short in terms of how valuable what we have is. So we're not setting up the appropriate protections because we are, lacking in that way. All right. I asked Spirit how we get there. We have the Six of Swords in the reverse. So you might need to reevaluate the people around you. Spirit is telling me that this lines up with the Six of Wands message as well. Jeanette, thank you so much. This is resonating for you. I'm very glad to hear that. This lines up with the Six of Wands as well. The Six of Swords in the reverse paired up with the Six of Wands is like the people around you might not recognize your value and recognize your worth, and therefore they might be making it harder for you to see how valuable you really are. So if the people around you are not like the people in the Six of Wands, they're not encouraging you, they're not elevating you, they're not congratulating you for all the things that you've accomplished, they're not forming a protective circle around you and saying, we want to protect you because you are valuable and you matter and you are worthy, etc., etc., we need to reevaluate that. The Six of Swords is asking us to take a look at where we are and consider whether or not it might be time to move forward and move on. I love that the Six of Swords has two figures in it, just like the Five of Pentacles, letting us know that the environment that we are in just may not be conducive. So that's important too. If the people around you are telling you that you're not worthy or making you feel like you're not special, then that's a problem. That's a problem. That is not, it's certainly not going to help, because it can be really hard to tune that kind of stuff out. So for some of you, this new moon in Sagittarius phase is going to be really conducive to reconsidering your physical spaces and the people that you have around you. And you want to ask yourself, are the people around me like the people in the Six of Wands? Is the environment around me like the Six of Wands? Maybe your home environment is untidy and not cared for. Maybe you've been going through some things and you have neglected your physical space and it doesn't reflect your value. That's going to impact you and not in a positive way. So your physical environment, your material environment might need to be reevaluated. You might need to move to a place that is more conducive and more, it's not about it being fancy, but like more in alignment with how you see yourself and where you want to be, as opposed to where you have been coming from. So you might move into a new environment, a new neighborhood that is more up and coming, more well kept, more put together. You might move into a new building, if you're an apartment building or something, where the folks are more neighborly, where they're more supportive, where they're not, being loud, throwing trash everywhere, etc. So these are all examples of how that might show up for each individual person, because this is a collective reading. But as a collective, we are realizing that the folks around us and the spaces around us might not be super conducive to us getting out of our lack mindset. It may not be conducive to us really embracing all of the value and worth that we have. Okay. Hi, Richo. Hi. Big deck energy today. Am I really? Well, that's awesome. I have a big deck today because we have a new big deck. So that makes sense. Hi from the UK. Hi. Hi, Ellie. Hi. Oh, you got, okay. Everybody's from across the pond this morning. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right. This is important because where this moon phase is leading us, if we choose to take advantage of this energy and incorporate it into our lives and reevaluate the physical spaces that we are in, is the King of Cups. And I love to see it. I love to see the King of Cups, because what that tells me is there is a lot of opportunity for emotional level up during this moon phase. There's a lot of opportunity for taking advantage of the moon as we move towards the full moon, and not being in that place of, I want to use the word despair, not being in that place of feeling downtrodden. That's the word. So I feel like a lot of us are struggling with that, with the Five of Pentacles and the Six of Swords in reverse, feeling downtrodden and either having some hesitance towards stepping into the Six of Wands, or wanting to feel like this, wanting to be in this place, but having something that is holding us back. The King of Cups shows up to say, like, this is exactly where you can be if you take advantage of this moon phase and give some thought to what it is in your physical environment that is keeping you from really feeling celebrated, really feeling victorious, really feeling like you are a leader in your field or just in your life, just in your home, just in your family. Your own family members and housemates might be making you feel like you are less than, or like you are regular, and you know you're not. You know that there's something special about you. You know that you are capable of great things, but it's just your circumstances or your situation that's holding you back from really being able to realize that and fully express that. And the King of Cups is able to overcome the naysayers, and is able to overcome his personal traumas and things that he may have gone through that caused him to previously feel like he was not worthy, or previously feel like he was never going to get out of that situation. When we get to a place in our lives where we are embodying the King of Cups emotionally, we have grown, we have matured, we are no longer allowing other people to control us and control our emotions. We are no longer allowing our circumstances to control us or control our emotions. So it doesn't feel necessarily like in this moon phase, a lot of you will be moving or changing your environment right away. Like the energy doesn't feel quick here. This is something you need to sit with and use this new moon in Sagittarius energy to help you be more expansive and look outside of the box, outside of your own circumstance and outside of where you've always been, to say, how is my environment? How is what is happening all around me impairing my ability to really get up on my high horse and sit up on my throne and be all that it is that I know that I am, but that for whatever reason I'm not actually living. You know, and I think this is appropriate to a lot of you guys, because I do talk a lot about how many of you are new witches. And so for some of you, this might relate to, rather than like your prosperity and your physical life, this might relate to your magical and your spiritual lives, where there's a version of yourself that you want to be. You want to be known for your magic. You want to be known for your abilities, spiritually or magically, and your circumstances or your environment and how you are showing up in the world is just not quite there yet. And this is a beautiful message for spirit, because that this new moon is particularly good for attacking that and analyzing that. Right, Ellie, you're a baby witch. Okay, so it is my goal to help you baby witches be better witches. That's the motivation of my podcast and all of the things that I do, is how do we level up? Many of you want to be here in this position where you are celebrated for your magic, you are known for your magic, you are victorious for the things that you do as a magician, you are able to overcome challenges, change the energy, manifest and make things happen in your life. But where we are at the moment is here, where we are very much focused on all that we don't have, all that we can't do, all that we are lacking. And it is not going to help us to get there to focus on what we are lacking. Our vibration is what attracts what we want in our lives. And so if all we are putting out into the universe is I don't have, I'm not there, if we keep just calling ourselves baby witches and selling ourselves short, we are not going to become the bigger, beautiful version of ourselves. Okay, so this new moon in Sagittarius is a great time to start over and start fresh, to cut your ties with your previous views of yourself, to cut your ties with potentially your previous physical situation if where you're living or where you spend your time is not conducive, to cut ties with people who do not believe in you, who have negative things to say about magic, about witches, about readers, etc. Now is the time to separate from them, because the new moon is a beautiful time for starting fresh, and Sagittarius is a fantastic sign for expanding beyond the limited places where we previously were, or traveling and moving into new spaces. Okay, so then this is what we do this for, and this is why we talk about the astrology before we get into pulling the cards. We want to know what is happening astrologically, not to box ourselves in, but to know what tools the universe is giving us so that we can get shit done. So the universe is giving us new moon and Sagittarius energy. Utilize that to expand beyond the previous views of yourself, whether it's physically in terms of like your money or your situation, or whether it's spiritually, how you see yourself and how you have previously valued yourself. Let's all level up into the King of Cups, where we are able to be loving, welcoming, warm, but not taking no shit. The King of Cups is like, for me, the softer of all the kings, you know, because he's rooted in water and he relates to our emotions, but don't get it twisted. He is still the king for a reason. Okay? He is still the king for a reason. Being in touch with yourself emotionally and having control over your emotions is not soft stuff at all. It's incredibly powerful. It's incredibly important. Our emotions dictate so much of our lives and how we live our lives and what we do and how we show up in the world. And so letting other people or the circumstances that we're in control our emotions is very weak. It's a form of slavery. So when we get to a point where we take our emotions into our own hands, we realize that we control them, and that other people and our circumstances, no matter what they are, do not get to decide how we feel about ourselves. It is incredibly empowering. Incredibly empowering. Okay? Oh my goodness. Oh, are you like typing in your accent? I've had a proper off day today. I love that. I can't stand one of this. Well, I definitely am with Ellie. I pray that you are able to pull yourself out of that. And this is not to dismiss anyone's totally valid feelings. Some days we just are having a really hard day. Sometimes we're just struggling and it's not going well for us. So I am praying that, realizing that your emotions are yours and yours alone to control, will help you. And whatever has caused you to feel that way is real. It happened. I'm not saying like throw it away, like you can just dismiss it. But do know that the King of Cups reminds us that our emotional register is ours. It is ours. If someone hits you and you get mad, that person did not make you mad. That person hit you, and that needs to be addressed. But the feeling that you have is actually up to you. Okay? And I want to be clear that we're not spiritually bypassing, we're not putting a gloss over everything. Oh, just smile through everything, just be happy. I'm not saying that, but I am saying that it's important to understand that what other people do is or circumstances that you are in are very real, but your emotions are 100% within your control. And you get to decide how what your circumstances are or what other people do impacts you. And you are capable of experiencing shitty situations and shitty people and not feeling shitty about yourself. That part you get to control. And the King of Cups understands that. And the King of Cups sets up boundaries and protects themselves from outside forces in order to maintain that whatever it wants to feel. So if you want to feel empowered, you want to feel energized, you want to feel happy, that really truly is within your control. And it's not just like toxic positivity nonsense. That if there's one thing in this life that you have control over, it's you. So if you don't want to feel a certain way, and obviously there are bigger challenges to that. If we are clinically depressed, if we are chronically ill, how we feel may be something that that is far more difficult to change than it would be for someone who is not going through those things. And I acknowledge that and recognize that and do not in any way ignore that. Okay. But outside of those circumstances, how we feel at any given moment is totally within our own control. And you are able to decide that you don't want to feel that way. And the King of Cups understands that. There's a lot of water element here. There's a lot of water reference with the Six of Swords, the Witch's bottles, the King of Cups, which is very rooted in water. So our emotions, I feel like for a lot of us, are the area where we really want to put a lot of this new moon Sagittarius focus. Emotionally, how are we struggling? How are we lacking? How are we feeling like the Five of Pentacles? And how can we call in the new moon in Sagittarius to assist us as we take that power back and turn that around for ourselves? Because remember, it's not just ourselves that's impacted. Both the Five of Pentacles and the Six of Swords give us these two figures. So for a lot of us, there are people in our lives, children, communities, friends, for whom our emotional health impacts. So when we do for the self, we do for the collective. When we do for the collective, we do for the self. So you don't owe anybody anything. And I'm not saying to address this issue for the sake of others, but if it helps you at all to remember that your emotional health impacts those around you and you love those people, if that's a motivator to help you, turn your attention to that and do something about that, then I mention it just because it might help. It might be an extra motivator. Sometimes doing for ourselves for whatever reason doesn't motivate us as much as it does to do for others. I'm kind of like that. I get huge boosts of morale when I help other people that I don't necessarily get from like taking care of myself. Sometimes I have to like really remind myself that like, hey, if you don't take care of yourself, you're not going to be able to take care of other people. I can get really focused on helping others because it makes me feel so good to do it. So you might be like that as well. And if so, then let that motivate you. Let how your emotional health impacts others motivate you to do something about it and not just sit wallowing in this place of lack and despondency and despair. The X Collective says, sounds like some ancestor work will come in handy to help clear the path for these new paths. Ancestor work is, I hesitate to say should, because I don't like to be too preachy, but it should be a part of your everyday practice. It will come in handy for everything, for absolutely everything. If for nothing else, just knowing that you are not alone in what you are going through and what you are working on, what you are changing in your life. If for nothing else, knowing, not just believing or thinking because other people say, but knowing because you have an actual relationship with your ancestors, knowing that they are there is going to help you with absolutely everything that you do, including channeling new moon and Sagittarius energy to start over and to step into this new version of yourself that is victorious, that is exalted, that is praised, that is celebrated, that is powerful, that is emotionally strong, in control, and protected. Okay. Yes. Yes. Thank you, Spirit, for that message. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Shout out to Laura Zackroff for this deck. First card pull, I liked it. I think this is going to be our oracle deck, guys. That's biblical. Yeah, there are a lot of good teachings in the Bible. I think the Bible's dope. Super useful book. I keep several copies for different things. Yeah, shout out to Laura. Very beautiful deck. I'm excited to actually flip through it. I think I'll probably try to do a flip through video for you guys so you can see the whole deck all at once. But we will probably get to see all of the deck eventually because I think this is going to be our new moon and full moon oracle deck for our early morning readings. So I feel very, very grateful, and I just want to take a moment to thank our guides, guardians, angels, ancestors, and spirits that come to us when called for coming through today with this message and giving us all insight and understanding as to how this new moon in Sagittarius can be called into our lives or showing up in our lives to affect the collective. Remember to pull your birth chart, find 1 degree of Sagittarius to see what house that is in and how this new moon in Sagittarius can specifically benefit you in your life. But as a collective, it feels like this new moon in Sagittarius is going to be particularly helpful for us reevaluating our sense of value and worth, whether that be financially in terms of our abundance and our money, or whether that be more spiritually and emotionally in terms of how we see ourselves, how we value ourselves, and how the people around us value us. Yeah, you want to see a flip through? Okay, definitely. I don't even know if this deck is out, but I will list it in the Amazon shop in my list of recommended tarot decks and whatnot. The link to my Amazon shop is in the description of this video. All right. That's the message, folks. This witch has got to go and open up her shop. We open in an hour, and I am clearly not ready. So I gotta go run, put some clothes on, pack my lunches, and get over to the shop to open up in time for 11. Yes, the deck is out. Okay, great. So I will list it in my shop for you guys as soon as I can for easy finding. Okay. All right, I pray that message resonated with all of you guys. If it did, please do consider dropping a super chat to help support these lives. If you are watching this on the replay, you can do a super thanks. The button for that is like right under the video. So you can drop a super thanks and contribute to these lives being public and being a thing. We're keeping it public for now, so your support helps that to be. Otherwise, they might be coven-only videos. So your support allows them to stay public for everybody to enjoy. Does the witch have a pointy hat? I sure do. It's from a shop called Magical Macabre, and it's over at the office. It's over at the shop, so I can throw it on during my day if I need to. All right. Thank you guys so much for being here. I am sending you all off into this day with lots of love and light. I cannot wait to see you at the next live, which will be around the full moon. So make sure to subscribe and click the notification button so you know when that happens, because I don't know when that will be. It will just be sometime around the full moon. So you're going to want to know when that happens. All right, guys, have a beautiful day. Stop by the shop if you're in the area. Blessed be. Yep, and a black cat. You know it. Pointy hat and black cat on deck. All right, guys, thanks for being here. Blessed be.